Have you ever looked at a beautiful state online and thought, that's where I want to live? Well, you might want to slow down before loading up the moving truck. Some states look amazing on vacation brochures, but living there full-time can be a completely different story. High housing costs, rising insurance rates, crime problems, brutal weather, heavy taxes, and shrinking job opportunities can quickly turn a dream move into a financial nightmare. Today, we're counting down 10 states you should think twice about moving to in 2026. Now, this doesn't mean these states are terrible. Millions of people happily live in each one. But when we look at affordability, quality of life, cost of living, safety, and overall value, these states have some serious drawbacks that make them difficult places for many Americans to call home. Let's get started. Number 10. New Mexico. New Mexico has some of the most beautiful scenery in America. You've got deserts, mountains, historic towns, and sunsets that look like they were painted by an artist. Unfortunately, the scenery doesn't solve many of the problems residents face. One of the biggest concerns in New Mexico is crime. For years, the state has consistently ranked among the highest in the nation for both violent and property crime. Cities like Albuquerque continue to struggle with theft, vehicle break-ins, and drug-related offenses. While many neighborhoods are perfectly safe, the statewide numbers remain a concern for families considering relocation. The economy also presents challenges. New Mexico's median household income remains below the national average, and many communities offer fewer high-paying job opportunities compared to neighboring states like Colorado or Texas. Housing costs are still relatively affordable compared to much of the country, with median home prices hovering around $330,000. However, rising insurance, utility costs, and slower wage growth have reduced much of that affordability advantage. The cost of living sits roughly 2% to 4% below the national average, which sounds great until you realize many salaries are also lower. For retirees or remote workers, New Mexico may still be attractive, but for many working families, the math doesn't always work out. Number 9. Louisiana. Louisiana offers incredible food, unique culture, and some of the friendliest people you'll ever meet. But when it comes to everyday living, things can get complicated quickly. One of the biggest issues is insurance. Homeowners' insurance premiums have skyrocketed in recent years due to hurricanes, flooding risks, and severe weather. Some homeowners have seen annual insurance bills increase by thousands of dollars. Then there's the weather. Louisiana experiences frequent hurricanes, tropical storms, flooding, and extreme humidity. Living there often means preparing for natural disasters every single year. Economically, Louisiana struggles in several categories. Poverty rates remain among the highest in America, and educational outcomes often rank near the bottom nationally. While major cities like Baton Rouge and New Orleans provide employment opportunities, many smaller communities continue facing economic challenges. The median home price sits around $260,000, which appears affordable on paper. However, when you add insurance costs, flood coverage, maintenance, and rising utility bills, home ownership becomes much more expensive than many newcomers expect. Overall, cost of living remains about 6% below the national average, but hidden expenses often erase those savings. Number 8. California. Whenever a list like this comes out, California usually shows up somewhere. The reason isn't hard to understand. California has one of the strongest economies in the world. It offers incredible weather, beautiful coastlines, amazing entertainment, and endless opportunities. The problem is the price tag. Housing costs are among the highest in America. The statewide median home price is now approaching $900,000 in many reports, while some coastal markets are well over the $1 million mark. For many middle-class families, buying a home simply isn't realistic. The overall cost of living is roughly 38% to 45% higher than the national average, depending on location. Gas prices, groceries, utilities, insurance, and taxes all contribute to the financial burden. Wildfires have become another growing concern. Insurance companies have reduced coverage in several high-risk areas, leaving homeowners scrambling for alternatives. Traffic congestion remains legendary. In some metro areas, residents spend hundreds of hours each year sitting in traffic. California is fantastic if you earn a high income, but if you're moving there with an average salary, you may find yourself spending most of your paycheck simply trying to keep up. Number 7. Illinois. Illinois has one major asset that keeps attracting people: Chicago. It's one of America's greatest cities, offering world-class food, sports, entertainment, and career opportunities. Outside of Chicago, however, the state's problems become more noticeable. Property taxes in Illinois are among the highest in the nation. In many communities, homeowners pay thousands more per year than residents in neighboring states. Those costs can significantly increase monthly housing expenses, even when home prices appear reasonable. Illinois also faces long-term financial challenges. Pension obligations and budget concerns continue putting pressure on taxpayers. Many residents worry that future tax increases may be necessary to address these issues. Crime remains a concern in certain parts of Chicago and some other urban areas. While most residents never experience serious problems, the state's crime reputation continues influencing relocation decisions. Housing remains moderately affordable compared to coastal states, with median home prices around $300,000. However, property taxes can make a $300,000 home feel more like a much more expensive purchase. The cost of living is close to the national average overall, but taxes and housing-related expenses push many families to look elsewhere. In fact, Illinois has experienced years of population loss as residents move to lower tax states across the South and Midwest. That's never a great sign when you're considering a move. Number 6. Mississippi. Mississippi often appears on lists of the most affordable states in America, and that's absolutely true. The problem is that affordability isn't everything. The state's median home price is roughly $250,000, making home ownership attainable for many families. The overall cost of living runs about 13% to 15% below the national average, one of the lowest rates in the country. On paper, that sounds fantastic. However, Mississippi continues to face challenges in several important quality-of-life categories. Household incomes remain among the lowest in the nation, meaning even affordable homes can feel expensive relative to local wages. Economic growth has improved in some areas, but many communities still struggle to attract large employers and higher-paying industries. Healthcare access and educational rankings also remain concerns. While there are excellent schools and healthcare providers in certain areas, statewide performance often falls below national averages. Severe weather is another factor. Residents regularly deal with tornado threats, flooding, hurricanes near the Gulf Coast, and intense summer heat. Insurance costs have been climbing as weather-related risks increase. Mississippi can work well for retirees or people with remote jobs, but if you're relocating for career growth and long-term opportunities, there are usually stronger options elsewhere. Number 5. Oregon. A lot of people move to Oregon expecting endless outdoor adventures, beautiful forests, and a relaxed lifestyle. Those things certainly exist. Unfortunately, so do some growing challenges. Housing affordability has become a major issue. The median home price across Oregon now sits around $520,000, while many desirable communities are significantly higher. Over the past decade, home prices have risen much faster than wages in many parts of the state. The overall cost of living is roughly 12% to 15% above the national average. Utilities, groceries, healthcare, and housing all contribute to the higher expenses. Portland, once considered one of America's hottest relocation destinations, has faced increasing concerns regarding homelessness, property crime, and public safety perceptions. While many neighborhoods remain excellent places to live, some residents feel the city has struggled to address these issues effectively. Another challenge is wildfire season. Large portions of Oregon now face annual wildfire risks, resulting in evacuation concerns, smoke-filled summers, and rising insurance premiums. Employment opportunities are solid in healthcare, technology, and manufacturing sectors, but the state's increasing costs have made it harder for newcomers to establish themselves financially. Oregon remains beautiful, but beauty alone doesn't pay the mortgage. Number 4. New York. When people hear New York, they usually think of New York City, and that's exactly where many of the state's affordability problems begin. The Empire State offers incredible opportunities, world-class entertainment, outstanding universities, and one of the largest economies on the planet. However, living there can be extremely expensive. The statewide cost of living is approximately 20% to 30% above the national average, and in New York City, that number can be dramatically higher. Rent remains among the most expensive in America, and home ownership is out of reach for many middle-income households. The median home price statewide is roughly $480,000, but that figure doesn't tell the whole story. In and around New York City, prices frequently soar far beyond what many families can comfortably afford. Taxes are another major concern. New York consistently ranks among the states with the highest overall tax burdens. Between state income taxes, property taxes, and various local taxes, residents often surrender a significant portion of their income. Winter weather can also be challenging. Upstate communities regularly experience heavy snowfall, long winters, and costly heating bills. If you're earning a high salary in finance, technology, healthcare, or law, New York may still make sense. But for average earners, the combination of taxes, housing costs, and daily expenses can make life financially exhausting. Number 3. Alaska. Alaska is one of the most beautiful places in the world. Towering mountains, endless wilderness, incredible wildlife, and some of the most breathtaking scenery you'll ever see. It sounds like paradise, until everyday life starts getting expensive. The biggest challenge is isolation. Most goods have to be shipped long distances, which means residents often pay significantly more for groceries, household items, and building materials. In some remote communities, basic necessities can cost double what you'd pay in the lower 48. The overall cost of living is roughly 25% to 30% above the national average, though it varies by location. Housing prices aren't always outrageous, with a statewide median home value around $390,000, but heating costs, transportation expenses, and food prices quickly add up. Job opportunities can also be limited outside major population centers such as Anchorage and Fairbanks. Many industries depend heavily on government spending, tourism, natural resources, and seasonal employment. Then there's the weather. Long, dark winters aren't for everyone. Some areas experience weeks of limited daylight, while temperatures can remain brutally cold for extended periods. Alaska is an amazing place to visit and a dream destination for outdoor enthusiasts. But for many Americans, the high costs and unique lifestyle challenges make it a difficult place to call home year-round. Number 2. Hawaii. If this list were based solely on beauty, Hawaii might rank number 1 in America. Unfortunately, this list is about places you may want to avoid moving to. And Hawaii has one major problem. It's incredibly expensive. The overall cost of living is approximately 80% to 90% higher than the national average, making Hawaii the most expensive state in America by many measurements. Nearly everything costs more. Groceries, utilities, fuel, healthcare, construction materials, and everyday household goods all carry premium prices due to the state's geographic isolation. Housing is where things get really painful. The statewide median home price is often near or above $850,000, and many desirable neighborhoods exceed the $1 million mark. Renting isn't much easier, with monthly rents far above national averages. While Hawaii enjoys a strong tourism economy, wages often struggle to keep pace with living costs. Many residents find themselves working multiple jobs just to maintain a comfortable lifestyle. Another issue is limited career diversity. Outside tourism, healthcare, education, government, and a few specialized industries, employment options can be more restricted than many newcomers expect. Hawaii is absolutely stunning, but unless you're arriving with a high income, significant savings, or remote work that pays mainland wages, paradise can become very expensive very quickly. Number 1. New Jersey. Taking the top spot on our list is New Jersey. Now, before everyone from the Garden State starts typing angry comments, hear me out. New Jersey actually has many positive qualities. It offers excellent schools, strong healthcare systems, proximity to major job markets, and easy access to New York City and Philadelphia. The problem is the cost of maintaining that lifestyle. New Jersey consistently ranks among the states with the highest property taxes in America. In many communities, homeowners pay well over $9,000 to $12,000 annually in property taxes, and some areas are significantly higher. That can dramatically increase the true cost of owning a home. The median home price now sits around $580,000, with many suburban markets exceeding that figure. Combined with elevated insurance costs, utility expenses, and taxes, housing affordability has become a serious issue. The overall cost of living runs approximately 15% to 20% above the national average. While salaries tend to be higher than average, many residents feel those gains are quickly consumed by expenses. Traffic congestion is another major complaint. Some commuters spend hours every week navigating crowded highways and expensive toll roads. New Jersey isn't a bad state. In fact, it does many things very well. But when you combine high taxes, expensive housing, costly transportation, and rising living expenses, it's one of the toughest places in America for the average family to get ahead financially. The last word. So those are 10 states you might want to think twice about before moving to in 2026. That doesn't mean they're terrible places. Every state on this list has people who love living there and wouldn't move anywhere else. The point is that beauty, reputation, and vacation experiences don't always tell the whole story. Before making a move, look beyond the postcards. Research housing costs, taxes, insurance rates, job opportunities, crime trends, and overall affordability. The best state for someone else may be completely wrong for you. What do you think? Did your state make the list? Which state do you believe is the most overrated place to live in America? Let everyone know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.